r/AskReddit. Why can't your job be automated? I'm a corporate accountant. The whole point of my job is to figure out where the automated systems did something that didn't make sense. If you replace me with a robot, you just have me looking at the robot's work and making sure that made sense. Yep, pretty much this. Also, I don't think a computer could handle the ever-changing whims of my management team. Easy fix there. Replace your management team with robots first. I have people skills. I'm good at dealing with people. Can't you understand that? What the hell is wrong with you people? Working for a mega corporation, people who deal with people and are then able to turn around and deal with engineers are actually extremely valuable. Edit. For all those engineers out there saying that I'm not considering you as people, I'm married to one. So I'll concede that engineers have mostly human parts. I used to work in print production for a book company. They eliminated the in-house production jobs, but found the artists/designers were incapable of talking to the press guys and getting the specifications right. So they had to restaff the whole production department again. The robots would kill themselves out of boredom. No motivation to keep going. At least I have bills to pay. They have oil and electricity to buy. Not if we make them out of rubber. As a cashier, it already has been. We still have people working as well because the customers like it. The only time I go to the cashier is if I'm buying here. Because using the self-checkout, the guy up front overlooking them will have to come check my ID. And this cancels out the reason I use self-checkout. To avoid human interaction. Every time I take here to the self-checkout, I go to the scanner closest to the guy up front. They always walk away to deal with something else as I'm pulling the ear out of the basket. And I have to wait a couple of minutes to get my ID checked before I can scan anything else. So yeah, here goes to the regular checkout line. Because the bulk of my job involves using Workday, anyone who uses Workday should know what I'm talking about. Laughs in SAP. Sorry, you're going to have to use a different transaction for that. No robot could achieve my levels of sarcastic efficiency. GLaDOS would disagree. How are you doing? Because I'm a potato. No robot could work in the porn industry as well as me. Are you the guy that knows just when to pan to the guy's face or ballsack during an otherwise intensely hot scene? Yeah man. Because Roombas, while they serve as excellent pets, aren't always the best at cleaning. My Roomba loves to follow me from room to room. It's a little creepy when I walk into the bathroom and it starts banging at the door. If all jobs were automated, 75% of all Reddit traffic would disappear. You don't think we'd all be here during our personal time? Do you? All good fellow human. Bots got you covered on the Reddit posting front. Yeah, can we get a bot that searches up all the good stuff so I don't have to sift through 5 pages of garbage to find something to fap to? My job is figuring out how to automate things. Hey, that's my future job. Nice. My job will be making sure other people are out of a job. It's a weird feeling the first time you are really successful at it. Just too many ducking variables. Also, a tongue with taste buds is required. Food critic or chef. Gynecologist. One cannot automate something that does not exist. r/terabytes would like to have a word. Most of what I do is too custom. When you want a one-off millwork piece, it costs more to design it, develop code for it, and have a CNC system make it than it does to just hand a shop drawing to a carpenter and say, here, make it. Automation is amazing for making 10,000 of something. It kind of sucks at making 2 of something. There are already programs being made that can instantly render a third object from a child's second drawing, and then mail or print it. In 20 years people will be doing this at home. That works for plastic or metal. But people still like proper wood. And automated systems have a hard time with it because of its organic nature and unpredictable structural characteristics. I've already automated it. I'm right there with you. I've been spinning in my chair and reading about God and Pokemon on my phone all day. I've automated many parts of my job. And when a new type of thing happens, I automate that too. Yep. Last night I spent 6 hours on a spreadsheet that has basically automated 12 man hours a week once I implemented on Monday. More it did for me during work hours. I don't think a robot pestering someone to get their hit done would be as effective as me doing it. No one rattles the back of a subordinate's chair whilst being witty and sarcastic the way I do to get them to work faster. I'm sure they'll eventually build a robot nurse, but I really don't want to be a patient of it. Half of my job just seems to be talking to people to help lessen their fears about what's happening. Last week I was in the emergency room for severe dehydration due to food poisoning. The nurses held my 6-week-old daughter and kept me calm while I was being seen and having tests done. Nurses are heroes. IDK if this is bad, but I trust nurses more than doctors. I had postpartum hemorrhaging after I gave birth to my son, and I kept telling the doctors I didn't feel right and they shrugged it off, I think because I'm young, and said it's natural to feel that way. But then I explained to the nurse and she finally caught on what was happening. When I was getting my 3 blood transfusions she held my hand the whole time. Creative writing is not within the purview of AI programming at this time. At this time, I, for one, welcome and show full obedience to our inventive, resourceful, and innovative robot overlords. All hail the mighty circuitry. I recently read somewhere of a development on milliliters, where they can create entire paragraphs from a topic point. It still has some errors, logic, and syntax, but it gets a big bulk of work done. I reckon one could use this to automate those daily blog posts or articles, and just have one human be the editor for the corrections and tone. Bot written blogs and articles already exist. They might be the source of the rumor come out, does Bruno Mars is gay? I'd love to see a robot stand in a pool and teach kids to swim, but I probably won't see that anytime soon. Yeah. Because the robot would probably have a boat as a lower body. No need for it to stand like some inefficient human. We don't have general intelligence AI yet, so I'm safe for a while as a developer. I'm curious how long that will last. I'm a data engineer and I see tons of development tasks that I used to do by hand being automated. My expectation is that we will hit a point where the development is so automated that it's simply done by the business side of the equation. There are maybe a handful of very specialized developers left to handle weird requests outside of the norm. But since everyone is coding today, that seems like a pretty lean job market. Full stack dev that dabbles in automating others' workflows here. I feel pretty safe, even on a 2018 stack. Some of these tools feel dumb as bricks at times. Even when the tools get better, the work just gets more complicated. It's going to be a long time before these tools can use themselves. But would the robots browse Reddit at work same way as me? Came here looking for this. And I too am at work currently. Good luck automating a spec ed teacher. Those computers or machines will be wrecked or are programmed within a week. A week seems like too long. More like a couple of hours at most looking at my special needs kid. Because graphic design never looks natural when a computer does it. Also, there are already web pages and apps that offer custom-made logos and whatnot for cheap. They are not custom-made. Someone is going to get the same plain, meaningless looking logo that you have. If it doesn't bother to you because your business is small and you chaff, fine. But big companies would hate that hit. One thing they don't say is that people can absolutely tell when you spent $5 on your logo. Because the business demands designs that don't actually work. I don't think a robot would try and convince them that they're stupid and should change their mind. Ah yes. The old we want you to design us one that's lighter, cheaper, easier to make, bigger, smaller, looks better, can fly and also tunnel under the ground, is harder and tougher, but also soft and yielding. Oh, and you only have a quarter of the time you need to design it because we've already told the board we'll be selling it in Q3 inches. No problem. Now which two out of that sentence of mutually exclusive things do you really want? Cheaper and easier to make. Yeah, I thought so. Sigh. It's too niche, so developing the means to automate it wouldn't work from cost/benefit analysis. Not yet. My job is already heavily automated. I use a machine to analyze samples, and then I use a computer to very quickly write reports on those samples. I'm not sure there's room for any more robots. We're all full on robots. There is a human factor that everyone is discounting here. Trust. Do you trust a machine to wash your car? Sure. That is something I can trust a machine to do for me. Do you trust a machine to pick the food you will eat at the store? I don't know about that one. Would you trust a machine to analyze the evidence against you in a legal trial? I wouldn't. You could still have a human reviewing and supervising. What I think people don't get is that you don't have to get anywhere near 100% automation of a given profession for it to be massively disruptive. Say you had machines analysis the evidence against you for a trial. That doesn't stop a lawyer from reviewing it. But if 50% of the initial legwork is automated, you now have 50% less hours needing to be billed by human lawyers. What happens? Do they find other ways to bill you? Do wages go down because you have the same supply of labor with 50% less need for it? Does it open up automated lawyering to a lower financial rung of society? I can't even really define my job. They'll have to solve that problem first. Because I'm an acting teacher. The day a robot beats us in acting is the day we've lost as a species. Clearly somebody ain't never seen Short Circuit. Johnny 5 acted the hit out of that role. Number 5 is alive. Unions. Same. I work in an underfunded section of an underfunded government department. 75% of my work is on paper and everyone higher up than me is terrified of change. The government is also afraid to change things as most of the info is confidential and things will get screwed up unless they devote huge amounts of money for this not to happen. Which they won't. Because my job is designing automation. The moment my job gets automated, we'll have bigger worries than puny stuff such as jobs. Such as driving back the robot revolution. The students will break the robot in less than a week. So what? Just automate the students. It's pretty much strictly a people person job. Advocacy, counseling, mediating, education, professional development, having difficult and vulnerable conversations, etc. It could. But we know when to be quiet and look busy. Ducking like and subscribe.